Hello and welcome to Soundart Radio. Good morning.
I'm Demeter.
I'm Emma.
I'm Aidan.
I'm Olive.
I'm Hachiko.
I'm Hachizaru.
Thank you for having us here today.
Yes, thank you. It's an honour.
What do you do? For about, it's about 7 years, the Okiya's been
We've lost
running?
count.
We've lost count, but for many years. In Totnes, we run the Totnes Geisha House, and I've been learning to study and practice being geisha in Totnes, which has been interesting to see if I practice sincerely what sort of things people enjoy and what I can share about it with other people. We brought I brought my shamisen with me today. I've been onto Soundart Radio a couple of times. We did some Totnes Tea House sessions. We might do some more of them in the future. The shamisen is a very important instrument for the geisha because it's about using art to make a living and find food and things like that. And actually, they had a saying with the shamisen. It's got 3 strings, 1, 2, 3, and they had a saying. Women who were interested in using the art to make a life for themselves used to have a saying: "If you have 3 strings, you can eat." Because you're an art professional and you can make some money and keep yourself going, and so that you can do more study, become better gradually, not always having to be the expert right from the beginning, but you can sustain yourself as an artist and you can learn and grow and enjoy that. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so you're going to sing a song for us?
Yeah. Hachizaru, my partner, he plays the guitar with me. Sometimes that was a bit scary because when I started playing the shamisen, he's played the guitar for years. So I actually had a rule that he's not allowed to touch the shamisen and he's not allowed to play it, because you know when people are really good at something and they pick it up and they do something amazing and you start thinking, I can't compare to that. So I wanted to be brave to gradually develop. So he's been very patient with not being an expert guitarist too much around me while I've been learning to play with strings.
Yeah, I've been playing the guitar before I think anybody in this room was born, even the grown-ups. But I'm not that good.
Better than me. So let me get my music out. So you've been looking at some pictures of me as a geisha in Totnes, have you? Yeah. What do you think about them?
Good.
It doesn't really look like you at all.
Because you have a wig on.
Yeah, it's interesting because the white makeup on the face some people say, it's like a mask or you're being a different person. But actually, like a lot of arts that were developed by women, there's a practical reason for it. And the practical reason is that the geisha used to run parties in spaces where they didn't have electric light. So it was quite dark.
Just candles.
And just candles. So it was really important for the hostesses' faces to shine out so you could see their expressions and you could really communicate well. So that's why geisha have white faces. But yeah, I don't feel, it's interesting, when I'm geisha, I don't feel like I'm dressing up as somebody else. I feel like I'm just actually, like anything, when a painter paints a picture, they're being creative, aren't they? When they, even though they're using a brush and some paint, they're not being themselves. And I feel the same way when I dress up. I'm just being creative and I'm expressing myself through the art in that way.
Are we doing the one with the bunnies?
I think so, yes. I'll try and balance the thing here. This is the other thing about me, is me and Hachizaru have very different music backgrounds. He picked up the guitar. How old were you when you started playing the guitar?
10 or 11.
Right.
Which was in the 60s.
Long time ago.
Way long time ago.
And he wouldn't play with music, whereas I went to Kevik's and I learnt firstly on the flute, and I was doing classical music, so I was like in the classical orchestra, and so I've always been a music reader. So we have very different perspectives, and he finds it much easier to improvise than I do. I need something written down in front of me. But we gradually, as our children grow up and get more independent, we're working together to try and understand, but it's a bit like we speak two different languages in music, so that can be a bit hard sometimes.
Pop music and classical music, the people who play them have even got a different sense of rhythm. It's really quite an interesting difference.
Interesting, yeah.
Do you want us to hold your pages up?
No, I think I can be creative with
On that.
things like... No, it's fine. Everything's...
Oh, you got it.
Fine.
Everything in balance.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. The shamisen is interesting. Oh, do you have a question? No. The shamisen's interesting too because it hasn't got frets like the guitar. Do you see the guitar's got lines all the way over, so you can see where the notes are, and the shamisen doesn't. I have got some cheeky numbers down there to help me, but even if I'm not looking at those, I don't really know what's going on. Also, the pegs are just literally they're squeezed in, so often when I'm playing a tune they creep out a little bit. And I'm not an expert yet, but I've seen expert shamisen players. They will actually adjust their strings in the middle of a tune. I can't do that.
Yeah, they're just wooden pegs stuck into holes in wood, aren't they?
Could you play me a D?
I could.
Okay. Okay, so
Your shamisen's been very good today.
Yeah. Well, I didn't take her strings down for the journey, so she still remembers what she was doing last time she was played. So this is a very traditional Japanese tune, and it's called Furusato, and it's written as if it's someone who lives in the city but used to live in the country. And it's all about remembering what it used to be like to live in the country and chase rabbits and wander around the mountains. So
chasing rabbits is fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never chased a rabbit.
Well, you don't get very far because they're really quick. But it's fun to try.
Fun anyhow. Okay, interesting. We must explore that later.
Well, it's probably wrong.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe if you keep your teeth in and always smile,
Right.
and they know that you're not after them.
I'm a friendly human.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like that, maybe like that.
Don't worry, little rabbit, I'm only having fun.
Yes, that could work.
It could be quite scary in itself.
It's true, yeah. Okay. 山は大き降るふさと水は清きふるさとThank you.
Could I ask if you could teach us maybe like the first line or two?
Yeah,
We could
yeah.
Sing it together.
Okay, yeah. Let's have it. Okay, so if you have that one, can you see the English there that I've written by there? Yeah. Okay, and the first one there. Okay. So that's the first verse there. Yeah, the first verse there. Do you want me to try and play it and sing it, and then together? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just a line by line. Or
Okay.
something. Yeah.
So okay. Yeah, Steve can play. Tell you what, I'll sing and Steve can play the guitar. So it goes. Usagi o ishika no yama. Should we try that? Usagi o ishika no yama. Okay. Next one. Kobu na suri shika no kawa. Okay. Kobu na suri shika no kawa. Okay. Yume wa hima mo gegurite. Okay. Gume ma hima mo migurite. Wasure ga taki furusato. Wasure ga taki furusato. So one of the things you'll notice about Japanese is that actually the sounds are quite simple, really, and each of the letters you can see here, they represent just a simple sound. So actually Japanese isn't too difficult once you start to learn what each sound means. You can actually sound it out quite well. So you might not understand what the words mean, but speaking it becomes easier once you know. And there's only, I can't actually remember how many there are, but there aren't that many sounds, or so it's interesting how, I mean, when you start learning anything, it's a bit scary, isn't it? Because it's like a completely different world, you know, and you think, I'm not sure I'm ever going to find my way around this place. But actually, gradually, it's like the next morning you wake up and you go, oh yeah, that's where they keep the bowls, and and then gradually things become easier to the point where somebody else comes into, let's say, a house, and you're like, how can you say to them, go and make a cup of tea, and they're like, oh, duh. And you're like, how can you not know how to make a cup of tea in my house? It's really simple and straightforward. And it's like that learning an art. So it's really important, I think, when you learn an art, to have faith when you start, and faith that, you know, if you're passionate about it, that the art will just gradually come to. And it's interesting actually from that perspective, as a geisha, when you start, you're very shy, and people are looking at you and you think, maybe my dance skills aren't that great. But when you start with loads of really pretty things in your hair and on wearing all the things, and people in general come up to you and they say, oh, I love your hair ornaments, which is easy to agree with. That's not a complicated question. And then gradually, if you look at geisha going through the steps, their costume becomes more and more simple as they grow in their art. And I have to say, it does feel a little bit like all of that detail is coming into your heart. So although people might not be able to see how much art you have and how much you have to express, and they might judge you as just some normal person, particularly if you're young, and think, oh, they don't hardly know anything at all. But actually, you know in your heart that you've got all of this stuff there, and it's quite a magical journey. Yeah. So shall we go through the whole thing? Just try and do it once through? What does Lucinda think? She's nodding.
I think we should try it together.
Okay, let's go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us...
They are easy sounds, aren't they? It's not like, there are languages that have got really different sounds, like in Chinese where you have to sing the right notes as well as the right letters.
Yes, that's true.
But Japanese really is kind of a wa, la, ga...
There's a reason for that, okay? So we're getting sidetracked, but let me know if we get too sidetracked. Because geishas get sidetracked. They're good at conversation, so they get sidetracked all the time. But when, way in the past, only like the posh men knew how to read and write, didn't they? It was like something that, and then maybe even people who were just in the church knew how to read and write. Yeah,
rich men and monks.
So, and then gradually it became something that more and more people could do, and it was a shared experience. In Japan, the writing first came from China, and it came from scholars who had gone from Japan to study in China. So really, they were just writing Chinese. And that was all very well, but what happened when you wanted to send your husband to the shops and pick you up some fish and a bit of butter and some flour, maybe, you couldn't write it. How will you write that down? Because you're not a Chinese scholar, you're just somebody who wants to make some nice pancakes. So that's where hiragana came from, and they were simpler sounding out of the things that those symbols, the Chinese symbols, would actually have represented. So actually it's like the hiragana are simple sounds so that people who are beginning to write and beginning to express themselves in writing were able to do, just with the typewriter, one key at a time. Yeah. Okay, so do you want to lead us in with something?
I'll lead you in with what we in the we music experts call the intro.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Usagi o ishika no yama kobu na suri shika no kawa yume wa ima mo megurite wasure gata ki furusato kusagi o ishika no yama kobu na suri shika no kawa yume wa hima mo megurite wasure gata ki furusato.
Wow.
Well done, excellent.
We got people singing in Japanese.
Yeah, that's very good.
Could I just say?
Yes, you can say something.
Do you remember when we went on that really long holiday across lots of different countries?
Yes.
And with so many different languages?
Yes.
It made me realise the first thing, because people are really nice, almost everybody in the world is a kind, helpful person. It's what you find out when you travel a lot. So I found out the one thing that you have to learn first in any language is how to say thank you.
Right.
Because you actually need to say it a lot. People show you, you talk to them in English and they help you even though they're not English, and and you want to say thank you a lot because you'd be lost without all the help that you're getting.
True. So and especially as a foreigner, it's really important because that's a huge step, isn't it, to acknowledge somebody's culture and language. So that's a really great way. So you're going to teach us how to say thank you in Japanese?
Arigato.
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 When I'm learning, I know it probably sounds funny, but when I'm learning a language, I try to remember it by thinking of it in a different thing. So maybe I think sometimes I thought hericato.
Hericato, yes.
Yeah.
Because you'd say thank you if somebody gave you a hairy cat? You probably have
I
to.
prefer a hairy cat than a non-hairy cat. I have to say, nothing. Well, I'd like to not have anything against non-hairy cats.
They are a bit startling to look at, aren't they?
They are a bit. Yeah, I think they were mainly designed to be hairy.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Yeah. It's the norm.
Although I hear non-hairy cats are quite expensive.
But they are scary.
They are. You find them scary. Yeah. Would you like non-hairy cat?
I wouldn't mind.
You wouldn't mind. There's another phrase in Japanese that's that's important, and that's itadakimasu. And what it actually means is you say it just before you eat, and it means thank you for the person who made the food. Thank you for all the people who made the food together. So, like, even the people who grew the corn and the people who shipped it to the shop so we could buy it, to all those people. And also, thank you to my mum and dad for making my body so I could enjoy eating this today. So it's a really big prayer, actually. And so that's itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu.
And but my goddaughter calls it eat a sticky mouse. Eat a sticky mouse, she says. I think.
Yeah.
Eat a sticky mouse. Yeah.
She must be a Sugar Mouse fan.
Itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu.
You'll practice that?
Itadakimasu. Yeah.
That's what you say before you eat.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing. To think of, like, thanking the people who run the shop and the lorry drivers and the managers and the office workers in the food company and the farmers and the people who put the gas pipes into the farm so that people can keep warm.
Yeah.
And the people who sold the fertiliser, and every single person
And it's
who's
interesting
anything
as well
to do
because
with
it's a
it.
small prayer, but actually taking that time to appreciate those people, it means you end up living in a bigger world, doesn't it? Because you do actually recognise that it's not just sometimes, but even with something that's really boring to eat that you eat all the time, it's still had all of that effort put into. So you're part of a bigger world. Yeah. Itadakimasu.
Can we learn hello and goodbye?
Yes.
Or a yes and a no?
Yeah. Konnichiwa is hello. Konnichiwa. Do
Konnichiwa.
you know that already? Yeah. Konnichiwa. Yeah.
Is that hello? Does that mean exactly the same as hello, or is it a bit different?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it means hello.
Yes.
And but more specifically, again, it's really funny. Have you found that with art or learning? Maybe you learn if with the sound art, with the doing the radio. When you start, there's you learn to do the basics, and then once you learn to do the basics, then you learn another level of it, like subtle ways you can use that, and then and sometimes you don't even notice you've learnt that until someone comes along who's a beginner, and you're like, oh, I know all of this stuff. I'm an expert compared to so and so. So with hello in Japan, one of the things they like to do is greet the day, the part of the day that's specific. So konnichiwa works in general, but more specifically, it kind of means good afternoon.
Yes.
So you would say good morning or good evening, if you were really on it.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa, yes, it's 12:17. We can say konnichiwa. Yeah.
Good.
And also to say goodbye, most often they don't say goodbye like the end of things. They say I'll see you later.
Ah, how do you say that?
Matane.
Matane.
Yeah.
Matane.
Matane,
Right.
because they recognise that we're all part of we're part of a world and a community, and it'd be very rare for us not to bump into each other later. So goodbye forever is, and when you see goodbye forever would be more like sayonara, which people have heard of sayonara, but it's a bit like with the bitter tear sayonara. It's kind of like never see person again. So matane is
you
like...
usually want to say matane, don't you?
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or au revoir.
Yeah.
Or see ya.
Yeah.
In English, isn't it?
It's like later. Yeah, later. Yeah. It's
later.
very much later. Yeah, later. Yeah.
Do you have another song?
Yeah.
Can we do
Let
one
me
more
see.
song?
Yeah.
And then
Let me see. I didn't bring Cho-Cho, unfortunately. Well, let's learn to do Tora. Okay, so this has got a dance, or we could. What do you think,
What do I
Saru-san?
think?
Because I have got Mr. Raccoon as well.
Well, I don't
Mr.
know really. I
Raccoon.
mean, what do you think?
Let's do Mr. Raccoon. It's a chant rather than a song.
And we've put into English too.
Yes.
And it's a crazy song. It's one
This is a children's game from
Yeah.
Japan. Okay, so there's only one sheet there. I'll put it there. Can you all see that over there? Okay, so this is sort of relating to nature song, because Mr. Raccoon is a tanuki, and in Shinto belief, they believe that the tanuki, all they need to do is take one leaf, yeah, and they're like a little raccoon, and they pick one leaf, put it on the head, and they can turn into anything. And
people or buildings,
Yeah.
or even a whole town,
Yeah.
anything, a mountain,
yeah,
or a
anything.
tree.
So, and I don't know, does anybody watch any Ghibli films? Has anyone seen any Ghibli movies? Is it in Pompoko? Have you seen Pompoko?
It's really
you've seen
good.
Pompoko.
It's all about Tanuki.
That's all about tanuki, yeah, and it's all about tanuki dealing with the fact that they live on a hill, and then the humans come along and they tear up the hill to make space for houses, and how the tanuki deal with that. So it's a lovely tale, but it's really environmental too, which is really great. So this is a little chant that one would say to a raccoon. So you go, and so let's chant together, and then I'll explain how we do it together. So we go.
Or I could be the raccoon for you. If you want to do it all together, okay.
Yeah, okay, you be the raccoon.
I'll be the raccoon.
Zara-san will be the raccoon. So he has to do the replies.
I might get the
So,
tune
no.
wrong, but I know how to be a raccoon.
It's not really a tune, it's okay, it's fine. Okay, so, yeah, like that, okay, okay. Mr. Raccoon, everyone together with me, yeah? Mr. Raccoon, won't you sing with me somehow?
No, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickled plum.
Can I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum. Get your own.
And so we play this sometimes when we do the geisha parties. So geisha parties they're like a banquet. They're actually called ozashiki, which means banquet room. It's actually a referring to where it actually happens. And geisha do dancing and singing and lots of games. And it's something in between the different stages of the meal, so that it's like makes the whole evening kind of run smoothly. So we do this in one of our games that we play when we do a geisha party, and we go. The actions are like this. I put our hands together. Mr. Raccoon, won't you sing with me somehow?
No, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickled plum.
Can I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum. And then you go get your own, don't you?
Then
Because
we
swap.
We go around, get your own.
And then I
And
say,
you have to be it.
Mr. Raccoon, won't you sing with me somehow?
And we all go, no, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickle plum.
Can I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum.
Get your own.
Mr. Raccoon, won't you playing with me somehow?
Do we split into pairs?
Okay, we can do that,
do it
yeah.
in pairs.
Who wants to be?
And then we can frustrate each other in pairs.
Go down there. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
okay,
Yes,
two
you be
teams, yeah.
raccoons. Yep. So we'll start being.
That's like
we'll
the
start as
pantomime audience.
Yeah, we'll start as humans. Yeah, we'll start as humans, and you can be
We'll
raccoons.
start as raccoons,
Okay.
yeah.
And okay. Mr. Raccoon, won't you sing with me somehow?
No, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickled plum.
Can I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum.
Get your own.
Mr. Raccoon, can't you sing with me somehow?
No, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickled plum.
Can I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum.
Get your own.
Mr. Raccoon, won't you sing with me somehow?
No, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickled plum.
Can I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum.
Get your own.
Mr. Raccoon, can't you sing with me somehow?
No, I can't. I am eating dinner now.
What's for dinner? I want some.
I am eating pickled plum.
Don't I have a little crumb?
Don't be such a greedy bum.
Get your own.
just an example of one of the little games we play, which are all very. Some people are in the audience as well, and part of the party are a bit like, "Oh, I don't really know how to do that." But the Geisha just say, "Just come up and have a."
They're
give it a
also
go.
easy.
Yeah, they are easy. Yeah.
This is adults too.
Yes.
So you don't have to stop having a ridiculous time when you're an adult. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to be serious, because adults have got a lot of silliness.
Yeah,
and it's just
definitely.
wation to come out when somebody thinks of a way of bringing it out.
Yeah, and in fact, one thing that the Geisha used to do in the past is actually because Geisha have a reputation for only entertaining men, and that's the reason for that is because they started a long time ago, and actually it was only the men who were going out in the evening. The women would just stay at home, so that's why. But nowadays, Geisha look after men and women. But it was one thing that the fathers used to do when their sons got to a certain age, is they'd take them along to a Geisha party to help them to understand how to play games and how to be light-hearted and at the same time polite, as a sort of basis for living a happy adult life that's full of fun and has plenty of room for fun and happiness.
Could we have a last tune on your shamisen?
Yes.
Because it's so beautiful to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
So this one, this tune I'm going to play is a very sort of slow and dignified one, and it's one from the ancient court of Japan. So this would be a time, especially as well, when the white faces came into play too, because when people went to see the emperor, they'd have to see the emperor, and often they'd be behind a screen. So they'd often use white paint to make sure that the emperor could see their face properly, and so they could have a proper impact on people. So we can think about, while we listen to it, we can think about one of those times, like just before you go to bed. One of those those evenings when you can stay up a little bit later because the sort of, I don't know, the day is creeping on, and so and the light is dimming, and there's this sort of twilight atmosphere, which is quite magical, isn't it? When you can experience that time that's different to other times. So. Check them in tune.
Same tuning.
The Honchoshi, yeah. The shamisen has 3 tunings, so it can be a bit confusing at times. Okay. This one is called Ontenraku. yeah, thanks for having us here today during your holidays.
Thank you, yes.
They were all stunned into silence by the beat.
Arigato gozaimasu.
I really enjoy the Japanese arts because all of them are related to a sort of Zen Buddhism. So the awareness and the quiet is part of it, which works really well for all of your moods, really, because you can have that running along quietly underneath everything else. Yeah. I'm all sleepy.
So can everyone remember how to say thank you in Japanese to our guests? Yeah.
Arigato.
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 Doitashimashite.
Thank you very much.
Right.